Marquesa is a group of islands about 25 miles to the west of Key West, and I've been going there for 20 years now. And it's kind of it's an atoll, which is a circle of islands encapsulating a basin, a rough basin, and with channels, and it's for a very shallow draft vessel. You can't really go in there unless you are shallow. And it's a beautiful place to watch the weather and to watch the light. And you're governed, after being there for a few days, you're governed more by the tides and by the changing light than you are by your wristwatch. I like the weather, and I like the changing climate all the time in coastal situations, whether it's in Massachusetts or in the Carolinas or now in Florida and Nova Scotia. And the paintings are basically a result of looking at atmospheric conditions and trying to figure out how to make them come alive for myself on canvas. And it's largely experimental. It's always an experiment. It's always I try to do things differently all the time. I try to figure out new ways to do things, and that's how I entertain myself. I've been a lifelong sailor so far, and I have a boat, and I don't get to use it quite enough, but maybe that'll change. I have boats in Nova Scotia as well. I also build boats, which kind of gets me away from painting a little bit and changes my perspective. So I try to break the dominance of the horizon line and try to play with it a little bit, try to make you see it disappear and reappear. And so that's just a matter of having fun with it. This painting, these paintings, both of the paintings have many, many layers of paint. And I start with a gesture and try to, and once I have a gesture that I like, I try not to ruin it. I try to just improve on it.
Yep.
So, and the ideas of lights, of a little light spot up in the right-hand side
Yes.
of the painting, as opposed to the dark spot. I'm having fun with just balancing those things, making them have a dynamism I hope for, and yet there's a peaceful quality to the painting. It's very serene in some ways. It's still. I'm very fond of moments before a storm, so I like to see. I like to see if I can get that in a painting. Not particularly in this one, but this has that quality a little bit also. I'm looking for very subtle things to happen in the water. I don't want to paint raging water. That doesn't interest me. It's very water is constantly moving, so to make it, to try to capture water in its state of turbulence is it's almost impossible to do without making it static. So the challenge is to have water that's moving subtly and not make it static, but it wants to move a little bit. So as you look at this, you kind of realize what you're looking at a little bit more, I hope. That you see slight breaking waves in the foreground, and then in the background it sort of goes away. But there should be a little eye movement. So the way I do it is to make your eye, or encourage your eye to follow the pattern of large to small, or focus to out of focus. And focus is very important. It's how you direct someone around the painting. And you follow the light. So if there's a light pattern that's believable, even though this is pretty abstract for most people's taste, I think that there's logic to it, and it's logic that's recognizable if you take the time to look at it. And but they do take time.
Well, and again, you can see the layers that you use of the paint just gives it such a terrific depth and almost a glow as the light travels across the painting, and as my eye travels with the light across the painting. So.
Yeah, I'm really very careful about not trapping anything and nailing it down. I don't want to make it solid. I don't want the clouds to have edges. I want it to be free flowing. I want you to be very atmospheric, and by that I mean that you're in it. I want to get the quality of being in the environment, you know, and sometimes it's just how the environment feels more than how it looks. So if you're ever in the ocean or in the water, and there's rain coming or squall coming, those are the qualities I like to try to get into a painting. Is that I want to get that kind of serenity with danger. I like the contradiction, that there's potentially a dangerous situation, but right now it's very serene. And so I like that idea.